Hey y'all, I'm Sarah Sipiata Bennett, and I'm so happy you're here for this episode of Let's Talk Local. We've got a super fun one today because I'm hanging out with my amazing friend and total design rock star, Kellie Sirna. Kellie's sharing the scoop on some of her biggest and most stunning projects around DFW, like the brand new Bob's Steak and Chop House in McKinney, the ultra cool Fountain Place Club in Dallas, and the fabulous Firefly Park in Frisco. Trust me, you're going to want to hear all about them. And beyond her design magic, Kellie is also one of the most incredible moms I know. So of course, we're going to chat about that side of her life too. Honestly, this just might go down as one of my favorite episodes, and I hope you love it just as much. If you do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more great combos. Kellie Sirna, you are a freaking icon. You're my friend.
Oh.
You're Monty's friend. You've been in our lives for a while, his much, much longer. And the fact that you're here it's just thrilling to me. I'm pumped.
Thank you
pumped.
for inviting me.
Of course. You're a member of YPO. You're now on the board of Braemar, which is a publicly traded company with some of the most extravagant, gorgeous properties. You started your business from nothing. You've been featured on the cover of like D Magazine. Just tell me a little bit about how you got started, but how you've really built this empire that you've been so successful doing.
Well, I'll start by saying I started Studio 11 14 years ago. It's now 3 companies, so it's the ID component of the firm, branding, and art services, which you guys know. I know we've done a little bit of artwork for you guys here and there. And I started with the goal to hit 6 figures. I was like, okay, if I can, and my boys were 1 and 3, and I was a recent single mom. So I thought if I could get 3 to 5 designers and, build this thing to kind of have more flexibility with the boys, which joke's on me now, because we were just talking offline how much I'm traveling.
Yep.
And it's just kind of taken off. And I really attribute that to all of the mentors I have, Monty being one of them, running things by them and seeing how they run business and real estate. And it's been incredible. I don't think I would have ever had the opportunity to grow the way I have had it not been the hospitality industry and all these mentors that I've had. So now we're just under 50 designers, architects, arts, creative directors, and brand strategists in 4 different cities, offices. But then we have some remote in South America, Mexico. So we're all over now, which is really exciting. We're really working to build in Cala. It's been Central America, Latin America. It's been just incredible. And every new goal is something that I didn't know would even be a goal, would even be an option 14 years ago when I started.
And from 14 years to now, so tell me just a little bit about the respective parts of your business, the 3 different parts. I'm especially interested in the art curation.
Sure. So started Studio 11 and I started all over. So I was in lifestyle luxury before. And when I started Studio 11, I got like a standards book for like a select service hotel. And I just said, if I can stay within the budget, would you let me kind of like judge it up? My designer heart was really sad that they'd already picked like every piece of furniture. And so we ended up getting Spring Hill Suites of the Year, which was very exciting.
Yes, it is.
And then took off and did a resort in Haiti, which really kind of initially put us on the map. Like, who's crazy enough to go to Haiti and build a resort? And that's where kind of art came in, because I realized we work so amazing with these third-party art vendors in production now, but at the time they weren't telling our story. So we work really hard in the design process to create a narrative. And then that narrative is really told through art and styling. And so we brought in full-time artists and an art director, and we, depending on the region, we work really hard to tell the story of not just like if it's Nashville, it's not guitars on a wall. It's truly telling the story of the Gulch, for instance.
That's right.
Finding and sourcing local artists. And it's, we've it's not my CFO calls it my nonprofit, which is funny, not funny, but it really elevates our projects and tells the story for our asset.
I love that. Art curation is one of my favorite things to read about.
Amazing.
And isn't it? It's just, I could sit there all day with a cup of coffee or something, just reading about it. What do you believe fundamentally? I have some ideas that I'm going to share, but what do you believe has really helped set you apart from all of the other firms out there?
I could go in two different directions.
Don't sell yourself short.
No.
I hear your mentors and all this stuff. But
yes.
What poignant piece?
I'll be
part
honest,
of you.
It's. I think I have a different hustle. I think growing up in the Midwest, I think, starting as a single mom, it was really survival for me.
Yep.
And in addition, I'm a chameleon. So I love relationships. I don't call it business development because it just really isn't for me. I really love the people I work with. I love getting to know clients. I know their families. I know their kids. And I love connecting people, and not with the intent that it's like I'm expecting something, but it usually comes back. So I find what people need and I try and be the connector. And so I host dinners and events and things where I'm really intentional about that guest list. So if like a Monty was going to join a dinner, I'm making sure that there are people that are going to bring value to him at that dinner. And I think that's been, a little bit of a secret sauce for me.
I understand. I do the same.
Yeah.
And it's just
You're
something,
amazing at that.
No, but as are you. But now talk to me a little bit about some of the local projects in the DFW area that you can. I've heard that you're doing Fountain Place.
Yeah.
Or you've done it?
We just installed Fountain Place within the last few months. So the finishing touches and styling is going in.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about it. I mean, just let's delve into it. I want to hear about the pickleball space, the private club, all the things.
So this was a large commercial owner, international commercial owner. And obviously office buildings were taking a bit of a hit. And so they're trying to find ways to incentivize their tenants. And so they were talking about an outdoor pickleball court. They had this really great space adjacent to the Fountain Place building. And it's just across the really beautiful fountains that are kind of running through there. And so we did an indoor pickleball court. We did a small spa, changing facility. We did a food and beverage area. And then we have a hunting simulator and a golf simulator.
Oh.
2 golf simulators.
A hunting simulator?
Yes, because only in Texas.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I'm ready.
We will have to go.
What?
So it was my first hunting simulator and my first golf simulator. And so we're designing this room around the hunting, like hunting screen. And it turned out really fun and really beautiful. We worked with ownership and styled and kind of did a couple of found pieces. And then the pickleball court is really interesting. In that process, we like to talk a lot about flex spaces.
Yep.
And for me, and this is why I think I love hospitality so much, is, I love figuring out how to generate revenue and program. And you just can't do that as much or at all in residential. So with this pickleball court, I was like, what is this going to be at night? What is this going to be on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock? Right. And so we did a really beautiful wood floor, but with brass inlaid. The court is actually this brass inlaid material. Oh. The net pulls up and can kind of go away. We have like the little watching communal table can turn like where chafing dishes can be on, and it can be a really beautiful venue for a space.
I'm loving this.
Right? So tenants can rent this for whatever, host a huge meeting or a party or a reception. And so we were really excited about that being an extra incentive for the tenants, but not taking up more real estate. It's really beautiful.
I love it. And so over kind of the holidays, a bunch of us went to the Ritz in Tahoe.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've seen that property recently. The 2 banks, the 2 banks at the bottom are golfing simulators, football simulators.
No, I haven't seen this.
Oh my goodness. And it was so much fun. Okay. So this cool hunting simulator, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I've never done a hunting simulator.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
We'll have to try it out.
We have to. So when is it open? When can people start using it?
It's open now. So I've gotten a couple of messages from some YPO friends and friends in the city that have gone to lunch there. I'm actually planning to host a couple of events there just so people can kind of see it, just to kind of get it kickstarted for ownership. So I want to do a YPO event there.
Yes.
Because that would be a great potential tenant.
Yes.
And it's just a fun new little private club in the city. I think everybody would love to see it.
Okay, so do you know anything about the price point, anything about people that they're trying to...
It's really more, I don't know the specifics, but my understanding, because I kept trying to find new ways to generate revenue, and they were like, Kellie, once again, this is a gift to the tenants. I'm like, however, we could rent it out. You could have a minimum. And they're like, Kellie, my money-making brain.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the spaces here in the DFW area. So Bob's. Talk to me about this Bob's in McKinney.
So Bob Sample, he's an icon in this city. And we all know Bob's on Lemon is an icon.
That's my neighborhood one.
It's a thing.
It's just like the best.
And
the best
he's
everything.
the best because he's always there.
Yes.
And and I always felt like a VIP until I realized later Bob has a way of making everyone feel like the VIP.
Yes.
So I was approached with their project in McKinney. Bob and Dave Johnson, previously owned Aimbridge, and also a good friend and mentor. And I was ecstatic. And so, Dave really wanted like an elevated, bougier Bob's.
Yeah.
And so we have since done Bob's in McKinney, but there's a cigar room element to it. And it's a really sexy, cool cigar room.
Oh, this is amazing.
Has one of Bob's collections.
I love cigars.
I didn't know this.
I love cigars. I have a whole, I have a whole setup at the ranch at the screened-in porch.
Yes.
Back to Bob's. So talk to me about how this one's going to be bougier, cigar club, all the things.
So it's been open and it's kind of picking up. It's right off 121, and there's a whole mixed-use development that David Craig and David Johnson, those guys are doing. It is beautiful and amazing. I've hosted a few dinners. It's a little bit of a disconnect from where I live in my office downtown. But, I've loved kind of going, and it's that carrot. And the pickles, oh my gosh, now I'm getting hungry.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He's just incredible. He's just created like an unbelievable brand.
I agree.
There's a million steakhouses in Dallas.
That's right.
And Bob's he's managed to be just incredible and relevant.
Agree. And
it's beautiful.
Okay, so then this other place, the Firefly Park in Frisco?
Yes.
Tell me, what is this?
Building the Wilkes family's first hotel. It's a dream hotel in Frisco. We just completed the schematic design concept this week, actually, and I cannot wait to bring this to the Metroplex. It is incredible.
Really?
It's really beautiful. It's a destination. Even the meeting spaces, and I don't know how much I can talk about, but even the meeting spaces are a destination because you have a lot of really beautiful hotels there with the Omni and the Hall Arts, with Craig and a lot of these hotels. But this is so dynamic, and it's just the Dream brand is unique in and of itself.
Ooh, I cannot wait to see it.
It's incredible.
When is it going to be completed?
We're looking at the end of next year.
Okay.
So.
Oh my gosh, Kellie.
I'm so excited.
Well, of course.
Yeah, it's already under development. And we're off into renderings now. But as a designer, and I was talking about this to someone yesterday, it's like when we walk through an actual space, it's really just a formality. And I've walked this space for like 2 years in my head. So I already have this space in my head. And we're just in SD. So it's been a really fun project. We're working with Boca Powell on that. So
okay.
It's been great. Has a commercial component, an office component as well. So they're doing that aspect of it and then working with us on interiors.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to pivot slightly because I don't believe that the show would be complete without mentioning a little bit of this. So I think very few people that I've ever interviewed have successfully been able to really marry an excellent career, be a single mother, and have two exceptional men, like young men. They're wonderful. I get teary-eyed. Because that, I believe, is your greatest legacy.
By far.
They're wonderful.
And anyone that knows me knows that is, without a shadow of a doubt, like my happiest place and the thing I'm most proud of my two boys. I've never had a moment where I don't feel I'm like, how did I get to be a mom?
Yeah.
And how did I get to be a mom of these two? And
They're exceptional.
they're like my favorite roommates.
That is exactly, I mean, at least my kids, I'm like, they're my favorite. These are people that I can't wait to continue to hang out with.
Yeah.
Because they're really funny. And so let me ask you, how have you been able to balance it? I know how tough it is. Your quality time with them. Yeah. How have you done it? How have you done it?
So I think because I have to share them with their dad, I say have to. That's part of
course,
how I do
of course.
He's amazing. I have one of the best co-parents. You might have the second, we're aligned.
Yeah.
We co-parent. We're in the same neighborhood.
And
He's
I
a
think
wonderful
that
dad.
is key.
It's huge.
It is critical.
It's huge.
Yes.
So our agreement is really that I give David, their dad, just a schedule of my travel, and I can work around the conferences and the developers, and and I work around all my trips, and I don't miss a single moment of my time raising my boys.
Same.
And so I feel blessed because I never would have built a company like this.
Yeah.
Had it been like every other Tuesday or week on, week off, I could have never built a company.
Yes.
And so I attribute it to a lot to their dad. And every time anyone asks me, I give him credit because he works with me in that regard. He even takes the dog, everything around them, any of their events, their sports, their organization. I know the countdown, especially with Graham turning 16. So the boys are 14, 16.
Yep.
And especially with Graham turning 16, every second that I can have with them, that's where my happiest place is. That's my hobby.
Same. Talk to me about your boys' interests professionally and how their futures might be molded and have been influenced based on you.
It's funny you bring this up because I've always worried their dad has a more flexible schedule and he's there. Like he can be there in the day to pick them up. Like, and again, it's more of a blessing than it is anything else.
Of course.
Right? It's my biggest flex.
Yes.
However, I have one, and I think when you were talking about Liliana and dyslexia, my son's dyslexic. And he was the one I was so worried about. But Reed is an organic entrepreneur. Yeah. He has started 4 companies. He has more money than all of us. I never know how. He started a power washing company. The other day, he was just on my computer. He's like, I'm becoming an Amazon affiliate. And I was like, how do you do that? And I mean, I remember we were in Mallorca. We were sitting on a patio and all these big, huge boats are around and we're having dinner watching all the big, huge boats. And he's like, can I borrow your phone? And he got on Facebook Marketplace and made like $300 while we're sitting in Mallorca on selling little sage bundles that we had found online for $1. Don't ask me why I bought 100 sage bundles that he at 3:00 in the morning. But he made like $300 just sitting there. And then Graham leans over and he's like, hey, we're business partners 50-50 after Reed did all of this. But on the flip side of that, and I always worried that the boys, would be like, you work too much or you do this. But they love and respect. And they're like, we're not worried about you because you're tough. Like they see me have to be tough in business. They see me getting yelled at on calls, and
that's right.
It's upsetting for them. Still, they have that little protective kind of.
You're like, that's what makes me.
Yes, I'm like,
that's what makes me who I am.
It's just necessary.
That's right.
But just last week, I was talking to Graham. He was getting to this Amazon affiliate thing where they'll probably make like $11, and I was like, I'm so excited to see that you're interested in entrepreneurship too. Like anything like that will, supports that. I'm in. Yeah. And he goes, oh, no, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I just see how hard you work and how hard it is. And I'm like, sir, I was like, this backfired in a huge way. So it was interesting that his perspective, he's like, I'd rather work for someone and be like, at the end of the day.
Oh my gosh.
So, and the boys are required, like this summer, they need to either start a company or a nonprofit. I think, and we've talked a little bit about philanthropy, but I think they need to know how to run a business or how to run a philanthropy and all the ins and outs of those things. And I also think, college is getting so much more competitive. It's like, what are you doing that's different aside from getting a 4.0?
Amen.
Right? So it's funny you asked that because I just this last week I was like, oh no, this backfired. And it takes those people, Greer
All
May, my
types.
associate principal, laughs because I'm always like, here, you want a piece of this? You want the keys? And she's like, I don't want to own this. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm here with you till the end, but like, I'm not. She's like, she doesn't want to be she doesn't want to own it. She is an incredible wingman.
Yeah.
And and I'm like, you're a genius. Like, she can ride the wave a little bit easier. I mean, it's, she goes through all those hard times with me, but she's like, I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. And so I see Graham maybe being like that incredible wingman. I see Reed either running 50 companies or a prison, and I'm not sure which yet. So we're still on the cusp. And no, he's like really good.
But it's terrific. Because if he has that fight in him and you're questioning if he can run a prison, people used to say that about me. It's okay.
Same girl. I had little tiny male version of myself.
Yeah.
Thought I was in the clear when my mom kept saying, you're going to have a daughter just like you. And I was like, I had 2 boys. And now I'm like, I had the boy version of me. His negotiation skills. He was negotiating. He lost games in his phone the other day. And I was in a dinner in Chicago and I came back to the table after Reed had been negotiating. And I'm like, and then he said this. And everybody at the table was silent and looked at me and they go, that's you. Like would tell. And I'm like,
oh my gosh,
it is me. I'm in so much trouble.
No, it's the truth. Lewis can push my buttons more than anyone. And Monty's like,
guess why?
Yeah, exactly. He's you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At this point, I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
You are a hospitality, primarily, designer. What are some of your most iconic and magnificent properties that you've worked on?
It's funny. I have different properties I'm proud of for different reasons. This is not the most iconic project, but my project in Haiti, to me, was an incredibly pivotal time of my career.
Yep.
In a time where, in a place that has so much sadness and poverty, I was able to create something beautiful. And to the point where I was going down in a bulletproof armored vehicle with armed guards to go to Croix-du-Bouquet to work with the artist. And every piece of art in that hotel was made from a local artist. And to see how incredibly resourceful they are with absolutely nothing. The hotel has recycled tires, T-shirts that were donated that were dyed and woven and made. I mean, you name it, and just like things, recycled oil barrels, and then they're finding forks and things and making beautiful masks.
Yep.
And so I think that project, it wasn't the fanciest or the most, but it was a project that nothing will ever touch that. I got to meet the people. I did a whole huge column of photography, and we explained to a group of students, that photography students that didn't ever have their own cameras, and a lot of these kids, some of them haven't even had a mirror to see themselves. And we said, go show the world the beautifulness. Everybody shows the sadness of Haiti. Go show them the beautiful. And we bust them all in. And I get goosebumps on my head every single time I think about this, because I'm right there. Now, they all came in and they were tears just streaming down their face as they found on this wall of 500 pieces of photography. They found on this wall their photograph, the pride that they had. But then, when you're talking about operations, I know I'm going off a little bit.
No.
But there was somebody in housekeeping, and she just went home and, hosed her home down, and that's how she cleaned it. So she goes in our bathroom, the guest bath, and takes a hose or not a hose, but somehow got water and just took the water and watered down the whole bathroom. So everything's shorting out. We flooded the second floor. But I mean, they had a big, huge rice and bean thing, and a woman's whole job was to sit there and people are taking their rice and beans, putting it under a napkin over it to take it home and share with their families. And there will be nothing I don't think that I will ever experience to my beautiful Thompson hotels or some of these incredible projects that I've been so blessed to be a part of, that will be as beautiful as that.
It's so special.
Yeah,
and then what a unique industry. I didn't even know about your industry when I was being raised in El Paso. I think I found out what interior design was after I graduated college.
Oh, well, same. I don't know if you know that.
No.
That's my second degree. So
Wait,
I went
what?
international business in Spanish, And I got out and I interned for an Italian company, and I was like, I will shrivel up and die behind a cubicle. Like I
Amen.
cannot. And
Yes.
and I grew up very ADD.
Yep.
And I do feel like that is my superpower. If you are in the
I love
right
that.
place,
Yep.
but truly, I mean, it's my social, everything I was in trouble in for school, the talking, the socializing, like everything.
It's your superpower.
I got mediocre grades because I never fit in that box. And understandably, teachers have to put you in a box in order to survive all these kids.
Sure.
But I never fit in it. I was always, even my art class, you know, she'd be like, do this, here's what the end result should look like. And I'm like, well, I want to do this. And I can like make it look so much cooler. And I would get a 0 on the project.
Yep.
Stubborn for sure. But like,
Yeah.
it is that dyslexia and ADD and all those things. I really look at if you're doing what you love and what you're meant to do, you're I think so different from everyone else.
Yep. But that different thinking is your strength.
That's strategy.
And I just really hope that more people just try to embrace that, because everyone wants their kid to be the straight A, perfect this, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
it's not their destiny. What type of mark would you like to leave on the youth? And how will you go about doing that? Because I know that you're engaged civically.
It's one of,
But
I think the things I'm most excited about being an owner. And when I hear young designers or young women or men or whatever, I get so passionate. I want to build a million different things. And I'm 250 miles down the road, and my team's like, slow your roll for just a minute. Like, I have a million ideas, and like, you know, capital raising, like even things like that. It's just, I love building other people's careers. So when someone comes to me and asks me about, you know, entrepreneurship or design or something, both of which I'm equally as passionate about, I love being a mentor and I love advocating for them. And we just touched on it, but even disabilities, I felt stupid my whole life. I felt like I didn't fit in.
Really?
I just felt like I couldn't quite grasp, like I had this not foggy brain, but like I was just not a great student. And
okay.
But I also think it really developed in me. I worked 10 times harder. So all my roommates and girlfriends were raging.
Yep.
And I would be studying all night, and they would come in at 3:00 in the morning, hammered, hair everywhere. And they'd get up the next morning, they'd have like the club stamp like on their face where they'd pat and like PJ pants, and they'd go in and make an A, and I'd make like maybe a high B.
Yeah.
And I was so frustrated. But that hustle that I had, that hard work, as soon as I got done with both degrees, internship, full-time, all these things, and I started my first job, I was like blowing past things because working hard was just natural for me. I'm like, wait, I don't have to be up till 3 a.m. in addition to this job. Like, this is incredible. And so I want, and I think it's what I love about Shelton too, is I want the youth to know, like, use your disabilities as a superpower and know that that can be your biggest flex if you embrace it and figure out how to use it best.
That's right.
And then, just mentoring overall in all those different little areas.
Whenever you came to the ranch and I was like, oh my God, Kelly, I'm redesigning the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. And then I showed you all the Kyle Bunting pieces and all the different things on the wall. So are you going to have any kind of anything coming out soon?
Product line? So yesterday in my stories, and if you go, and I would love for you to comment, because I don't think people understood until I put it in a story, like this is my very first product line.
So it's happening.
It's happening.
Oh my God. Okay, let's just talk about it really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so
talk.
Go.
So I just launched with Tarkett, which is a hospitality carpet line.
Yeah.
So guest room, public space. This is my very first product line, and I am like over the moon and so excited.
Of course.
It's called Wild Runway, and so the designs are very fashion. You will love it. You specifically. It's very fashion inspired, like Paris, like runway.
Yep.
But then with this kind of animal print, but done in a more organic or abstract way.
Oh.
So we had designed this guest room carpet for the Dream Hotel project, and I'm like, oh my God, it's got to be Wild Runway. And I did this beautiful plaid, like I'm so excited. And second of all, like Kyle Bunting is a very good friend, as you know.
Yes.
And you met him at the ranch.
Yes.
And he's just unbelievably talented. And what he provides is so unique in the hides. And so we are also working on something really fun together. Oh my gosh. We had a first run. Kyle's really pushing me. We had a first run and I was like, I love this. And he's like, this doesn't have the depth of Kellie Sirna. This has to go deeper. And I'm like, okay. So, but he's pushing me creatively. And so we're supposed to kind of get together. But I'd done this line for him called the facet line.
Okay.
You have to see a photo. And it's
Please
really
send
these
all of
beautifully
this.
organic shaped emeralds. So I did an emerald, which of course you will love.
Of course, yes.
But it's an emerald cut rug and it's all the different facets and all the different greens. And I loved that you could order your kind of birthstone or the stone that means you could even do a diamond, but all the colors are like pinks and blues in the diamond because that's what the facet would look like. So you have to see the emerald. I did full size. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. So we're going to do lunch.
Okay.
But I think we should, if I can get you guys down there. I think we should do it next door at the National, which would be an incredible place for you to see. Do you know Ginger's and the little bar?
I do. Yeah. I do. I
So
think
that's
I've
all
been
Sean
there.
Ton stuff.
But
Sean Todd's. I'm literally right next door. And this little building is like my third baby. It's my happiest place. You are going to love it. You're going to love it.
That's incredible. But I would love to do some type of panel, that have a whole bunch of kids just to listen to stories from people like you, just different types of personalities. But I believe that collection of personal experience should never be discredited, but should be applauded. Yeah. So thank you for being here, Kellie.
I loved it.
Yes,
Thank you
I'm
much.
so
This was
glad.
so fun.